Journey of a Sister, Year 7, Love Attraction. Suzanne is having a girls' night in with her friends, Felicia and Christina. They're in the middle of watching Dreamgirls when Suzanne's text alert goes off. It's from Charles. "Hi Suzanne, it's been a while. How are you and the boys?" It reads. "Stop the video!" she exclaims. "Why, what's up?" Felicia asks. "I just got a text from Charles." She sends him a reply. "We're all fine, thanks. You?" "You mean the Charles?" Christina asks suspiciously. "Yes," Suzanne answers, waiting for his reply anxiously. "Girl, why are you even wasting your time with him? Have you forgotten what he put you through?" Felicia scolds her. "I'm okay. How's the poetry going?" he replies. "Great! My first collection has already won an award," she texts back. "I agree with Felicia. You shouldn't even entertain him, Susie," Christina adds. Suzanne's mobile phone starts ringing. She jumps up to answer it, leaving the room. "I'll be back in a minute. Go ahead with the film," she tells her friends. "Hi, Suzanne. I hope you don't mind me calling." The sound of Charles's deep, sexy voice gives her butterflies. "Not at all. I'm happy to hear from you." "Phew, because after the way we broke up, I wasn't sure you'd want to hear from me again." "Let's just forget about it, shall we? It's all in the past." "Well, it's not as easy as that." "What do you mean?" Charles hesitates before replying. "I'm a father now." There's a shocking silence as Suzanne takes in the news. She ends the call abruptly, returning to the living room upset. Felicia jumps up when she sees Suzanne's face. "What's the matter, Susie? Is it to do with that Charles? What's he gone and done now?" Suzanne sits between her friends in a state of shock. "He just told me he fathered a child." "What? See, I told you not to bother with him. Why is he coming crawling back to you then?" Christina asks. "I don't know. I hung up." Another text comes through from Charles. Suzanne looks at her girlfriends. They stare back at her as if daring her to read it. Or not. She reads it. "Please, Sue, we need to talk." She shows it to them. "Talk? I think he's done enough talking his way into her panties. Getting her pregnant and all," Felicia remarks in disgust. "He's got a nerve," Christina chips in. Suzanne replies to his text. "So is it a boy or a girl? Are you still with the mother?" "Why are you even entertaining him?" Christina questions her impatiently. "I just want to know, that's all." I can see where this is heading." Felicia crosses her arms. "Ladies, please, I really appreciate your support, but let me just work this out by myself, okay?" Another text comes through from Charles. She hides it from them this time. "She's a girl, and no, I'm not with her mother anymore. We broke up a few months ago." Suzanne leaves the room to call him back. "Does she know that?" she asks him. "Know what?" "That you've left her to raise your child alone?" "Sue, listen. I tried my best to make it work. I really wanted us to be a family, but it just couldn't work." "Why not?" Suzanne is on the woman's side on this one. Here's another brother walking away from his responsibility as far as she's concerned. "Please don't make this hard for me." "Well, if you'd rather not talk about it." "She wasn't you," he blurts out. That's what it boiled down to. As much as I tried to put my feelings for you to the side and concentrate on my family, I realised I wasn't being true to myself. "So were you being true to yourself when you pissed off and left me for her?" Suzanne shoots at him. Her Scorpio sting isn't in her tail, it's in her tongue. Charles sighs deeply. "No, it was a big mistake," he replies quietly. "Well, you've made your bed. Now lie in it." Suzanne presses the end call button as the wound of the breakup reopens. She returns to the living room and sits heaving, tears brimming in her eyes. The film is still on pause. Felicia and Christina have been drinking wine and talking while they waited for her to return. They try to comfort her. "So what did he have to say for himself?" Felicia asks. "He wants you back, doesn't he?" Christina adds. "Yeah." "What are you going to do? You're not seriously thinking about getting back with him, are you?" Felicia quizzes. "I'm not sure." Another text comes through from Charles. "What did he say?" Christina asks, trying to read it. "He wants to meet up so we can talk properly." "Ha! Meet up? Where? Here?" Felicia half laughs. "I've got an idea. Why don't you invite him to the event we're performing at next Saturday? That way we can be there as well," Christina suggests. Suzanne sends him the details and tells him to meet her there after 10 p.m, by which time she estimates she would have finished her slot. Love attraction. Every time she goes out to perform, Suzanne notices the amount of sisters in the crowd who are either on their own or with friends, but no man. Maybe he turns up later that night when she gets back home, or perhaps she's just another single sister left on the shelf. Suzanne is performing her poem song, Love Attraction, for the first time. In floetry style, Christina is backing her with the singing parts. Halfway through, Charles walks in, hardly taking his eyes off Suzanne as he makes his way through the crowd. Christina sings, "I believe in a love so true, but I know I've got work to do, and I know that when I'm ready, my true love will come to me. I believe in a love so real, someone with whom I can feel open and unrestrained, and with him I can trust again." Suzanne does the spoken word parts. "And lastly, I must put action to my beliefs. Without action, there can be no attraction. The law of attraction is the law of love in action. So I must do something positive to cause the manifestation of this love thing that I'm seeking. I must create a space for him to appear, clear out the clutter of past interactions, cutting ties, saying goodbyes to the love distractions who can't commit because of their own fears. Now I trust and let go because I know that dreams do come true." As they leave the stage to a resounding applause, a familiar figure approaches Suzanne. "You again," she says bluntly. "Me again. Wow, you've changed. You look amazing." "Well, it's been 2 years, Charles. A lot has changed." She looks at him sarcastically. Suzanne has gone from wearing the wigs and the weaves to wearing her own natural hair. For this occasion, she's wearing a bespoke hairstyle, cornrow twists going up at the sides, with elegant puffballs and a Mohican style on top. Her clothing style has changed too. She now prefers to wear natural cloths like cotton, wool, hemp or silk. Her clothes are soft and flowing. Today she's wearing an African print designer dress with matching colourful African print earrings, which make her look more daring and exciting in appearance. There's grace in her movements, reflecting her keen sense of harmony and refinement. Her makeup is natural looking, enhancing her features rather than changing them completely. "Can I get you a drink?" he offers, holding her by the arm. "That would be nice," she replies, thinking, why did he have to touch me? He knows what his touch does to me. It sent an electrical current right through her whole body. As they stand by the bar talking, invisible sparks are flying everywhere. Their conversation is being drowned out by the noise, so Charles asks if they can go somewhere quieter. Suzanne suggests the lounge area upstairs. I'll be back in a minute. She heads over to the table where Felicia and Christina are selling her books and CDs. Most of her products have sold. Wow, you've done well. They sell themselves, Felicia states. Suzanne takes one of her poetry books to give to Charles. Thank you. I'm just popping upstairs. Are you okay packing up? Is he here then? Christina asks, looking past Suzanne into the crowd. Yeah, look over by the bar. I'll be back soon. She turns and walks back to where Charles is waiting. They make their way through the crowd and go upstairs. As they sit on the leather sofas, a waiter hands them both menus. Would you like something to eat? Charles asks. No thanks, but I wouldn't mind a cup of peppermint tea if they have any. He looks through the menu. Yes, they do. I think I'll have one too. He signals to the waiter to come over and orders a pot of peppermint tea. Okay, I'm ready. Fire away. Suzanne stares him straight in the eyes. Looking back at her regretfully, he holds her gaze. Suzanne, I'm really sorry for any hurt and pain I may have caused you. May have, she replies sarcastically. May have, she repeats. Sarcasm is the lowest form of communication, and it fails to help the situation. Ignoring her remark, he continues. I know I did wrong, but all I'm asking for is another chance. I now know that it's you I want to spend the rest of my life with. What about your baby mother? Suzanne asks, unmoved. How does she feel about this new arrangement of yours? I don't want to talk about her or put her down in any way, but all I can say is, it's over. I'm never going back. It's you I want. I've missed you so much, Sue. All the time I was with her, I was wishing it was you. Really? Yes. I thought I could make a life with my new family, but I was only lying to myself. As much as I love my daughter, I have to take my own needs into consideration as well. I don't just want you, Sue. I need you. I was wrong. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. His words play with her heartstrings, but she tries her best to stay in control. Oh, you think it's as simple as that, do you? Just beg my forgiveness and voila, we're back together. What about the mother of your child? Look, we'd only known each other a few months, and next thing she's telling me she's pregnant. I think she was ready to have a baby and just use me as her sperm donor. I'm sure there was more to it than that. Why weren't you using condoms anyway? Guess I was out of the habit. It was a moment of weakness. A moment? Is that all it took for you to get her pregnant? You need to take responsibility for your actions, Charles. There's far too many children being raised without a father. I'll always be there for my daughter, but do I have to suffer the rest of my life just because I made a silly mistake? She looks at him from across the sofa. He smiles with a boyish grin and a pleading look in his eyes. When did you break up with her mother? She continues questioning him. I moved out a few months ago. She was making my life a living hell. I couldn't do anything right. Well, it's your daughter I feel sorry for. She's the one who has to suffer in all this, Suzanne states bluntly. How old is she? You're right. She's 16 months. Do you have a photo of her? Charles takes out his mobile phone and shows Suzanne his screensaver. Oh, she's beautiful, she exclaims. How's your relationship with her mother now? Miria? Not good. But it hasn't been for months, even before Ebony was born. She seemed to switch on me the minute she got pregnant, he sulks. Suzanne recalls how she had been when she was pregnant. Her hormones had played havoc with her emotions. She remembers the time she'd ripped her son's father's waistcoat clean off his back in a rage. Are you sure it's not just her hormones? She asks in Maria's defence. What do I know? All I know is I'm not in love with her. I'm in love with you. As they sit staring at each other, Charles reaches over for her hand. Suzanne knows that if they get too close, touch skin to skin, she won't be able to control herself. She withdraws her hand before he reaches it. He bows his head, slumping his shoulders. Please, Sue, give me another chance to make it up to you. I'll do anything to have you back in my life. Just name it and I'll do it, he pleads. This is too much for Suzanne. This situation wasn't caused by me and it's not for me to try to fix it. With that, she gets up and starts making her way back downstairs. Charles rushes after her. How are you getting home? He asks. Felicia drove. Let me drop you. Come on, that's the least I can do. Suzanne explodes. The least you can do? You go off and make a baby with another woman, then come telling me the least you can do is give me a fucking ride home? She turns to storm off. Charles catches her by the arm to slow her down. She stops, spins around and glares at him. Trying again, he pleads. It will give us a chance to talk some more. Suzanne, we belong together. But if you're too angry to see that, if you're prepared to let your anger and hurt at my mistake keep us apart forever, then I'll have no choice but to walk away, and we'll spend the rest of our lives wondering what could have been. Or we can take this opportunity to examine what's in our hearts. Let me drive you home, and we can just talk. Suzanne huffs before replying, Okay. By the time they arrive back downstairs, the event is over. Felicia and Christina have packed everything up and are ready to leave. Are you okay, Susie? Felicia asks, giving Charles a dirty look. I'll be fine. Charles is going to drop me home. Thanks for everything. She takes her box and petty cash tin from the ladies. Charles takes the box from Suzanne and they make their way outside to his car. They drive in silence for the first few minutes before Suzanne asks if he can put some music on. As soon as Charles presses the play button, John B's They Don't Know starts to play. Suzanne recognises the CD as one they had compiled together years earlier. They look at each other and smile. Memories come flooding back to her. I have to admit, I have missed you, she says reluctantly. Charles reaches over, takes her hand and places it on the gear stick of the car to help him change gears, like they used to. Silent tears begin to fall down her cheeks. Turning to face the window, she wipes them away before he can notice. As much as she wants to be strong, she knows she's powerless to resist him. Reunited. They arrive at Suzanne's house. She turns the key and opens the door gently, hoping the boys would have gone to bed by now. At 11 and 13, they are old enough to stay at home by themselves. Whenever Suzanne goes out, she tells them to be in bed by 10:30 p.m. It's half term, so there's no real reason for them to go to bed early. Sometimes they stay up late playing video games. It's dark and quiet, so they have obviously been obedient. She checks in on them just to make sure. Charles asks if he can take a peek too. He had been like a father to them and feels slightly guilty about his sudden exit from their lives. He follows Suzanne into the living room. Would you like a cup of tea or anything? She asks. I'll take the anything if it's on offer, Charles replies with a smirk. Very funny, she looks at him sternly. As they sit staring at each other from opposite ends of the sofa, he's thinking about how beautiful she looks, while she's thinking how stupid he'd been for going off and making a baby with another woman. I can't believe I'm actually here with you again. I didn't think it would happen, Charles finally says. Yes, well, don't get any ideas. I'm not jumping back into another relationship with you if that's what you're thinking. I know I hurt you, Sue, but I'm going to do everything I can to make it up to you, he promises, reaching for her hand again. She withdraws it. It's like you said, it's not as simple as that. You have a baby and a baby mother to think about now, she reminds him. I know, but can you forgive me? He pleads. I've already forgiven you. I did it for my sake, not yours. That's one of the things I love about you, Sue. You find it so easy to forgive. Charles slowly eases himself over to where she's sitting. Buddha said, Having unforgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die, she informs him. Wise words. If you weren't my twin soul, I wouldn't even entertain you. What do you mean by that? We're twin souls, Charles. What, do you mean like soulmates? Soulmates are different to twin souls. You can have many soulmates, but you can only have one twin soul. What makes you think we're twin souls? Do you remember the day we met? It felt like we were caught in some kind of time warp, like time stood still. Did you feel that too? I thought it was just me. Oh my God, what did you feel? She gasps. It felt as if everything around us was blurred out. I remember seeing your lips moving, but no sound was coming out, like the whole room went silent. It was weird. We never did discuss it, did we? Well, I wasn't going to bring it up. You might have thought I was mad. It's not something that happens every day, is it? Well, that's why I knew we were destined to meet again. Twin souls have a mission to complete together. That's why we met in the first place. Okay, so what do you think our mission is? I'm not sure, but it's got something to do with helping raise the collective consciousness. Charles places his arm on the back of the sofa behind her. Well, I'm just going to lay my cards on the table. Placing his finger under her chin and turning her face towards him, he asserts, I want to be with you, Sue. I don't want anyone else. I know I have a baby to think about, and that's complicated matters, but I've never been more sure about anything in my life. After 8 months, Suzanne's body had ceased to let her know she desired a man, but she can now feel the passion reawakening within. She still isn't sure she should give in to him, though. It's been a long time since they were last together. She hasn't even told him about Solomon yet, and she isn't sure how the boys will feel seeing him back again, as suddenly as he disappeared. We really need to discuss whether this will be a good idea. It's not just about us. There's your daughter, and my sons to consider, and your baby mother. I know, Charles whispers, laying a finger on her lips. He kisses her gently. If she hadn't been sitting down, her knees would have given way. She kisses him back wholeheartedly. As they embrace passionately, their tongues play with each other while their hands rediscover each other's bodies. Suzanne can feel her temperature rising. There seems to be a ball of fire between her legs. I don't want to have sex with you, not tonight, she says weakly. Charles kisses her on the neck, and as he slides her top up, he slips his hands around her back and unclips her bra, exposing her breasts. Cupping them in his hands, he slowly begins sucking each erect nipple. She writhes underneath him. By now, she is wet, but it doesn't seem to be putting out the fire. He slips his hand up her skirt, stroking her inner thigh as he searches for the elastic in her knickers. Finding it, he pulls it to one side and begins massaging her wet clitoris with his finger while he continues sucking her nipples. Oh my God, I've missed you, Suzanne whispers. I've missed you too, Charles mumbles between mouthfuls. Suddenly, she pounces on him like a lioness, ripping off his clothes. He willingly helps. As he sits on the sofa naked with pride standing to attention, Suzanne strips off too. I'm starving, so you'd better know what you came here for. She stands on the sofa with her feet either side of him, looking like a Nubian queen, and his face is her throne. As she sits on it, he grabs hold of her bum cheeks, pushing her mound deep into his mouth. He eats her yoni like it's his favourite fruit. As she looks down at him and he looks up at her, they reconnect again spiritually. When he has finished, Suzanne reacquaints herself with pride, sucking as if it's her favourite ice lolly, trying to finish it before it melts in the hot sun. Charles lays her on the sofa, and lying on top of her in the missionary position, he enters her slowly. They both exhale deeply. You're just as I remembered, he croons into her ear. It's pure lust as they laugh, joke and talk openly, reenacting some of their favourite positions. Go deeper, she commands. He doesn't think he can get any deeper, but upon her request, he finds another 1/2 inch to put inside her. As they approach the finishing line, he makes his signature deep-throated groan of gratitude, while she lets out her signature sigh of relief. Just as they both climax, Suzanne is sure she hears the sound of the door creak shut and the boys sniggering to themselves as they run back to their bedroom. Reflections. The following morning, lying entwined in bed, skin to skin, Charles tells Suzanne that whenever they get back together, it always feels like coming home, and that his inner compass always seems to point back to her. "You know, that's the first time I've had sex in 2 years, he informs her. "How come?" "Well, from the day she found out she was pregnant, Maria didn't want to have sex anymore. She thought she might lose the baby." "What about after she was born?" "She was always too tired, said all the breastfeeding was draining her." "So what attracted you to her in the first place?" He doesn't tell her that it was her beautiful features and golden, flawless skin. Sometimes, when conversation dried up, which was quite often, that's what he would focus on. "Oh, we were both professionals, liked going to the theatre, that sort of thing. But we didn't have chemistry like I have with you. And I didn't feel like I could talk with her about anything like I can with you." "Well, I have some news of my own." "Go on." "I was seeing this guy once." "Oh? How long ago?" "Last year. It didn't last very long. I felt the same. No chemistry. It'll be hard for me to find someone to replace you." "We did raise the bar pretty high for each other, didn't we?" "Are you still in touch with him?" "No, he said it would be better if we didn't keep in touch." "Good. But you still haven't explained why you went off with that woman in the first place." "I guess I was feeling neglected, like you didn't need me anymore. You were so wrapped up in your meditating and going within that you just shut me out sometimes." "Charles, relationships have their seasons, you know. Mother Nature has shown me this. Just as there's summer, autumn, winter and spring, relationships go through their seasons too. It can't always be summer. There are the cold winter months when it looks like everything has died. But in spring, everything starts to blossom, and before you know it, it's summer again. The problem is, most people give up during their winter period thinking the relationship has died. That's what you did, Charles. If you had just hung on, you would have seen it start to blossom again." "You're right. I must remember that next time we go through our winter period." Suddenly, Charles sits up and swings his legs off the bed, as if he's just remembered something. Placing his elbows on his knees and his head in his hands, he closes his eyes, looking as if he's just taken the weight of the world on his shoulders. Suzanne kneels behind him and wraps her arms around his chest, pressing her bare breasts against his back. Slow, silent tears begin to fall down his face. Turning around, he looks in her eyes and regretfully whispers, "I'm sorry." Suzanne begins to cry too. In that moment, they both realise their relationship will never be the same. Now, there's a baby and a baby mother who will always come between them. Just then, his mobile phone starts ringing in his jacket pocket, which is hung on a chair across the room. He looks at Suzanne as if seeking approval to take the call. She nods, unembracing him. He gets up to answer it. Suzanne can hear Maria ranting and raving from where she's sitting on the bed. "Is Ebony okay?" Charles asks anxiously. He relaxes at Maria's reply, then attempts to calm her down. As he runs his hand from his forehead to the nape of his neck, Suzanne can see that Maria is transferring all her negative energy onto him, and that she's going to be the one to have to remove it again. "She wants to go out tonight, and she wants me to babysit," Charles moans. "Why don't you bring Ebony here?" Suzanne suggests. "She said it's better if I look after her at her house. That way she'll be settled." That's ridiculous. You're her father. Tell her you want to take Ebony to meet your family. I'd rather just keep the peace. Are you sure she's not just trying to get you to sleep over? Suzanne asks suspiciously. What if she wants you back? Well, that's not going to happen, is it? Charles assures her, taking her by the hand and pulling her close to him. It's you I'm in love with, just remember that. Well, you're going to have to let her know that you have a partner and that you can't keep staying over there. You should start having Ebony at weekends so Maria can have her breaks too. Introduction. It's a warm, sunny Saturday afternoon. The sky is blue with hardly a chemtrail in sight. It's Charles's first time having his daughter for the whole day without her mother. Maria hadn't agreed to him taking her for the whole weekend, insisting that he needs to build up to it. It's now 11:25 a.m. He had dropped Suzanne off on the high road to do some retail therapy while he went to collect Ebony. It takes a while before Suzanne's mobile starts ringing. Hi babe, I've got her. Where are you? He asks. I'm in the indoor shopping centre. Oh good, I've just parked in the car park. Can you meet me there? Okay. By the time Suzanne reaches the car park entrance, Charles is already entering the shopping centre carrying his daughter on one arm and the bag her mother had packed for her on the other, smiling proudly. Ebony is wearing a sleeveless floral print dress with frilly ankle socks and pink sandals. Her hair is styled in two big puffy bunches with colourful baubles holding them in place. She's the spitting image of her father. She has taken most of her dad's mocha skin colour, and her eyes, nose and lips resemble his. No doubt she's a daddy's girl. Suzanne feels nothing but love for the little girl. Suzanne, meet Ebony. Ebony, meet Suzanne. Charles introduces them. Hi, Ebony, Suzanne coos. Ebony reaches out her hands for Suzanne to take her. Oh my goodness, Suzanne exclaims, taking Ebony from her father while he takes her bags. They take to each other straight away. She's adorable, Suzanne says to Charles. Yeah, sometimes I find it hard to believe I helped create something so beautiful, he replies, looking at his daughter lovingly. They spend the next 2 hours shopping for clothes and toys for Ebony. Suzanne enjoys picking out little dresses, cardigans and hair accessories, almost as much as she enjoys shopping for herself. It makes a change from buying boys' clothes. They find a nice restaurant to have lunch in, and while Charles orders their food, Suzanne looks in the bag that Maria has packed for Ebony. Finding her lunch, she asks a waitress to warm it up. She puts a bib on Ebony and watches in amusement as Charles feeds his daughter. By the time he's finished, Ebony's dress is soiled. It's a good thing we bought some more dresses. After she's had her juice, I'll change her into one of them. Suzanne takes Ebony into the women's changing room and changes her nappy and dress. By now, Ebony is tired. Suzanne carries her back into the restaurant. Where's her pushchair? Oh, I left it in the car, Charles replies, looking embarrassed. Never mind, just remember it next time, okay? She says, laughing. Suzanne wants Charles to do right by his daughter just as much as he does. She supports him in spending as much time with Ebony as he possibly can. So twice a week, he goes to Maria's straight from work to spend a couple of hours with his daughter, returning to Suzanne's after Ebony has gone to sleep. Maria would offer him dinner, but he always makes sure to have a snack before arriving and waits to have his dinner when he gets back to Suzanne's. He doesn't want Maria getting used to him eating her food. Besides, he often feels sleepy after his evening meal. Sharing space. Charles emerges from a vivid dream. Suzanne had been watching him sleep. What were you dreaming about? You seemed all jittery, she asks, caressing his face. Oh man, I was having this weird dream. I was standing on the ledge of this high-rise building. He closes his eyes, reliving it. I must have been at least 100 floors up. I peeped down. The cars on the street below looked like toys. My feet could barely fit on the ledge. I was scared shitless. Then I noticed this guy standing to my left on safe ground, watching me. He had these huge wings like eagles. My foot slipped and I started free-falling. Next thing I knew, he swooped down and caught me and placed me where he'd been standing. Then he was gone. I didn't even get a chance to thank him. Then another scene. I was walking down a busy high street looking for him. I really wanted to thank him for saving my life. As I walked through the crowd, I met another man. I instinctively knew he was another angel. He handed me a cheque for a large amount of money. Then he disappeared too. Wow, what do you suppose it means? Suzanne asks interestedly. I don't know, but I've been thinking a lot lately about giving up my job and pursuing my art instead. That's a big leap of faith. I guess subconsciously, I'm afraid I'll fail. You won't fail, Charles. We're in this together now. 2 heads are better than 1, she tries to convince him. Yes, but it's not just me anymore. There's the mortgage to pay. Ebony, you and the boys to support as well. How will I manage? Trust the universe, Charles. All your needs will be met. Come on, I learnt all this stuff from you, she reminds him. Charles chuckles. You're right. I should know better. I'm seriously going to work out the math and see if it would be financially viable for me to leave my job. Well, you don't have to do it straight away. Let's get this business off the ground first. Charles has an idea. Why don't we move in together? That way we can work on our business plan and you can help me look after Ebony. Good idea. We could have her on the weekends. I have the boys. Sounds like a plan. It would cut down our outgoings and we can invest the money saved into the business. Why don't you and the boys move in with me? It's too small. Micah and Elijah are getting big now and will soon need rooms of their own. Plus, Ebony will need her own room. And we're going to need a home office. We need more space. Charles thinks more carefully before replying, You're right. 5 of us in a 3-bedroom house would be a bit cramped. Right, I'll sell my house and buy something bigger. Well, I'm glad we're finally getting this business off the ground. We've been talking about it for long enough. Well, something happened the other day that really got me thinking. What happened? I was in a financial session with an Asian client. Do you know what he had the nerve to say to me? No, what? Well, we got comfortable in our conversation, so he said, Charles, may I ask you a question? I don't mean to be offensive, but I'm truly curious, and I feel I can ask you this. So I said, Sure, go ahead. He asked, When you all, meaning us black people, move, why is it that the first thing you do is look for a job or move for a job? I paused, thinking, that's a bit of a silly question. But I replied, well, we have to provide for our family, so we have to have a job. Then he said, oh, because when we move, we look to start a business and we're always looking your part of town first. That changed my life. Friends? The house phone rings. Suzanne answers. It's Maria. Is Charles there? She asks bluntly. Hi Maria, how are you? Suzanne responds pleasantly. I'm fine, thanks. Is everything okay? Yes, I just need to speak with Charles. Is he there? Not at the moment. Can I take a message? Yes, can you tell him to call me as soon as he gets in? Actually, don't worry, I'll just call his mobile. Thanks. Suzanne catches her before she hangs up. Maria? Yes? I think it would be really nice if we could at least be friends. Ebony will be spending time here and it would be much better for her if we both got along. Don't you agree? Friends? Maria sneers. You steal my man, then tell me you want to be my friend? I didn't steal your man, Maria. Charles and I had a history long before he even met you. I'm sorry things didn't work out, but I didn't steal him from you. Well, as far as I'm concerned, we were still together when he started seeing you. So what do you call that then? He told me he'd moved out. He had, but we didn't say we weren't together anymore. Oh, so you were still together? Yes. You mean, whispering now, you still had a sexual relationship? What business is that of yours? Is sex everything? Maria states coldly. Oh, so you weren't still having sex. Suzanne breathes a sigh of relief. Whether we were or not, you still stole my man. Maria, somehow we have to get past this. Charles and I are back together again. He has a daughter with you. I love Ebony just as much as I love Charles, and I'd like us all to get along if possible. Maria hangs up. Well, at least I tried. Suzanne sighs. Settling in. Charles starts having Ebony every other weekend. They plan it so that Ebony comes on the same weekends that the boys are at home. That way, they have alternate weekends with all the children and alternate weekends to themselves. Suzanne and the boys look forward to the weekends when Ebony stays over. She's a great addition to the family. She has her own room decorated in pink and purple, and the boys have their own rooms as well. On those weekends, they do things together as a family. Due to the age gap between the boys and Ebony, it's difficult to decide what types of films to watch at the cinema, but they enjoy doing things together, like going to the monthly art market, eating out, going to the park, and swimming. The boys dote over their little sister, as they've taken to calling her. Suzanne enjoys having a little girl to dress and comb her hair and to play black dolls with. It's certainly different to having boys. Some weekends the boys go to their cousins, so Suzanne and Charles do things with Ebony on their own. Often, Suzanne leaves Charles to spend time with his daughter alone. All of them settle into the new routine easily. The only thing Suzanne has a problem with is the extra laundry and cleaning. Do you think we could get a cleaner? She asks Charles. Even if it's just to clean the kitchen, bathroom and toilets once a week, that would really help. I don't see why not. The time you spend cleaning could be put to doing admin for the business, and I can claim it as business expenses. So go ahead and find one. Girly time. Charles is trying to organise a family afternoon out. Suzanne is combing Ebony's hair. Should we go to the cinema? He suggests. To see what? Suzanne asks. Can we watch Jack the Giant Slayer? Micah requests. I don't think that would be suitable for Ebony. Aren't there any PG films showing? Suzanne objects. The boys groan. They're now aged 12 and 14. Ebony is only 2. I tell you what, she suggests. Why don't you guys go to the cinema and I'll look after Ebony? I need to finish her hair anyway. And I need to start preparing dinner for tomorrow. The family are coming over. Are you sure you're okay looking after Ebony? Charles asks. Of course. It's a good swap, actually. He walks over to his daughter. Hey, Princess, will you be okay till I get back? Yes, Daddy. Okay, see you soon. He kisses Ebony on her forehead and kisses Suzanne on her lips before leaving with the boys. Suzanne takes Ebony by the hand and leads her to her bedroom. Let's find something more suitable for you to watch while I do your hair, shall we? She puts on a Sesame Street DVD while she finishes Ebony's hair, while Ebony plays with her black doll. Her own yoniverse. It was Charles who taught Suzanne about the sacredness of her yoni. In fact, he had even named it for her. He told her that her yoni is the entrance to her personal solar system, her yoniverse, and that he, the black man, is the gatekeeper. He explains that the man plants the seed, but it's the womb man who nurtures and brings it to life. He said her womb is a portal and that babies are souls that come from the spiritual realm through the woman into this physical realm, but that her womb also has the power to create other things apart from babies. Suzanne doesn't have a clue what he's talking about, so she decides to do a meditation, focusing her attention on her yoni and womb. Gaining insight, she discovers that her womb is a powerful, dynamic, creative force, similar to that of the universe. It has the power to bring anything from the unseen realm into the physical. The liquid that is secreted from her yoni holds within it a strong transference of power and is therefore sacred. Charles knew this, which is why he happily and gratefully engages in cunnilingus. He told Suzanne that whenever their fluids mingle together, he is also taking on the ability to bring things from the spiritual realm into the physical, which is why he has a deep love and respect for his queen goddess and the inherent powers of her yoni and womb. Suzanne researches online and discovers that in some Eastern cultures, a man will focus on the yoni while meditating upon his desires, which has the power to grant his wishes. If a woman is aware of her powers, her flower will naturally emit a fragrance which provides the attraction inherent in it. Suzanne gets a mirror to study her flower. She develops a newfound respect for her yoni and womb and promises herself that she will never again allow it to be abused. After her yoni meditation, Suzanne is inspired to channel a message. All men are gods, but not all men are kings. To become a king, he must raise his level of consciousness to his crown chakra, located at the top of his head. This is the same for the goddess. For her to become a queen, she must also raise her level of consciousness to her crown chakra. When a god reaches his highest level of consciousness, he can then use his key to open the goddess's gateway in order to manifest his desires. A god can choose a goddess or a queen to perform the ritual, but a queen must choose a king, because the two can only go as far as his level of consciousness. It is therefore imperative that all gods raise their level of consciousness to their crown chakra and become kings. Once a god has achieved kingly status, he should then find himself a goddess or a queen, because without her feminine energy, it will be difficult to manifest his desires, since the gateway to bringing things from the spiritual realm into the physical world is found in her. By finding, protecting, and serving his goddess or queen, she will in turn love, nurture, protect, and heal him, opening the gateway to infinite possibilities. It is therefore necessary for the black man to understand that before he can lead, he must first allow his queen to sit on her throne. In allowing her to do so, his own immortality will be heightened. Suzanne is grateful to have Charles as her king. She realizes that many gods and kings don't understand the importance of finding their goddesses and queens for the way that leads to paradise within her. And many goddesses don't understand the power that they have inherent within themselves. Above the yoni is a small and subtle flame whose form is intelligence. Shiva Samhita, 15th century. Planting the seed. When Suzanne wakes up, it's still dark. She looks at the time. It's 4 a.m. Charles is sitting up in bed with his back against a velvet cushioned headboard, in deep thought. She quietly tiptoes to the toilet. When she returns, he hasn't budged. She tries not to disturb him as she climbs back into bed. He opens his eyes. "You're up early," she whispers to him. "I have a lot on my mind." "Like what?" "Like how we're going to get this business off the ground so I can leave my job." "Yes, the sooner you get off the plantation, the better." "Can I try something with you?" "What?" "Hold on." She gets up to lock the bedroom door. Charles doesn't know what to expect, but pride is already standing to attention. Just close your eyes and relax, she advises him. As Charles relaxes against the headboard, Suzanne straddles him. She's wearing an above-the-knee nightdress, so pride slips in easily. Once he's all up inside her, she tells Charles to close his eyes and focus on his breathing. Keep it in rhythm with mine, okay? Charles nods in agreement. Suzanne places her hand over his heart and guides him to do the same to her. She begins taking deep breaths. Charles follows. This will help us control the natural urge to thrust, she explains. They spend a few minutes focusing on their breath. When their breathing slows right down, they reach a state of deep relaxation and enter the alpha state, where their subconscious minds are in touch with the universal mind. Suzanne follows her intuition and begins riding him slowly. She takes Charles through a guided visualization, asking him to describe in detail his ideal work situation, as if it's already happening now. I need to build a clear image in my mind too, she tells him. Well, I see us creating products using my artwork and your poetry. What kind of products? Inspirational greeting cards, prints, mugs, t-shirts, fridge magnets, you know. Don't assume I know anything. So where will you run this business from? Our home office to start with, mainly online and doing stands at events. But eventually I want to own a shop where we can offer a personalised greeting card and print service. I also plan to buy in artwork and poetry to develop our product range and help others in our community benefit from their talents. Sounds great, but keep it in the present tense. So you could say, I see us owning a high street shop. Yes, and we're buying in artwork and poetry to increase our range. That's it. Are you sure you don't want to just make love? Charles grabs her hips and starts thrusting. Charles, stay in control. Sorry. Okay, what do I do now? Go back to focusing on your breathing. Charles takes some deep breaths with his eyes closed. Now, you need to build a clear picture in your mind of what this business will look like and share it with me so I can get a clear picture too. And remember to speak in the present tense as if it's already happening. Okay, we are selling our products online as well as in our shop. We are offering a personalised print and framing service and buying in artwork and poetry from people of African descent to grow our range of products. Good. What's the aim of this business? To leave a lasting impression on the recipients. Like your slogan says, touching the heart through art. They won't want to throw them away. Awesome. What about your staff? Our employees will be able to climb the ladder of success with us. They feel as if they're part of the business, not just working for us. How do you plan to achieve that? By offering them a percentage of the profits. The more money we make, the bigger their bonus is. That's great. How will you select your employees? Oh, by matching their date of birth with the job descriptions. I'll use my knowledge of numerology to find out whether they'll be suitable for the job. And get their birth charts drawn up as well? Of course. We also use our intuition to feel if they're right for the job. You're doing great so far, Charles. I'm beginning to build a clear image in my mind too. Anything else? Yes, I'm offering flexible working hours. Instead of 9 to 5, we offer early shifts and late shifts, plus some part-time positions for those with young children. Some people are early risers like us, and some function better late at night. So we allow them to set their own hours. As long as they get the work done on time, I'm cool. I like that. Anything else? Oh yeah, 10% of our profits goes into a benevolence fund to put back into our community. What will the fund be used for? to buy and maintain a community centre, scholarships, to help others start their own businesses, stuff like that. That's a great idea, Charles. It's a good way of paying tithes too, if that's what you want to call it. Charles, I'm getting really excited. I can really see it. Suzanne begins riding Charles like a cowgirl. He takes a peek at her. Her eyes are still closed and she has a big smile and a look of ecstasy on her face. Charles grabs her waist and begins giving it to her. Just as he's about to explode inside her, she stops riding and looks at him. The aim is to channel our sexual energy to our crown chakras instead of acting on our lower animal instincts. Let's take some more deep breaths. They breathe deeply in unison again. When Charles is back in control, Suzanne begins talking again in a soothing, rhythmic voice. What effect do you see our business having on the masses? I see our products inspiring millions of people all over the world to connect with their inner self, to live an authentic life, and to live life on purpose. Can you see this business enabling you to support your family, doing it full time? Charles pauses to think about this. Yes, I can. Do you think it's possible to have an unlimited income from running your own business? Yes. Then let's say it together. She starts riding him gleefully. Yes, 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 yes. Charles joins in. Yes, 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 yes. He lets her ride him, not knowing if it's okay to let himself go or not. Just as they're about to both climax, a sudden surge of sexual energy rises up their spines and heads straight to their crown chakras. They feel something they've never experienced before, and there appears to be stars and planets in the room. Fuck! Where did you learn that? He asks in shock. I saw it in a dream. Neither of them even realise it's a new moon. The combination of thought and love form the irresistible force of the law of attraction. Charles F. Harnell, The Master Key System. The joy of co-creating. Suzanne and Charles begin working on setting up their business together. They keep her slogan, touching the heart through art, as it's quite appropriate, but they set up a new, unlimited company. While Charles is at work, Suzanne writes a business plan based on what he shared with her during their sex ritual, leaving him to do the cash flow forecast and budgeting plan at the weekends. With Charles's accountancy and Suzanne's admin skills, it doesn't take long to have everything in place. He pays for a website to be built, and they work together to create products with the intention of buying in artwork and poetry to increase the range later. Charles has his paintings scanned for the best possible quality, and Suzanne edits some of her poems to fit inside the greeting cards. It's all coming together very nicely. Micah and Elijah also get involved in the business. At 12 and 14, they're old enough to take responsibility for certain jobs. Micah is assigned the job of helping Suzanne with admin, and Elijah has the job of helping Charles with bookkeeping. Charles begins teaching Elijah basic accounting with a view to him working in the office when he's older. The boys are happy that their mum and Charles are back together. The four of them carry on just as they had left off. The only difference is they now include Ebony on alternate weekends. Micah and Elijah adore her and enjoy playing the big brother role, helping Charles and Suzanne look after her. Over the next 6 months, things seem to progress at lightning speed. By combining faith, love, and sex, the irresistible force of the law of attraction is formed. Suzanne is a force to be reckoned with by herself, but when she joins forces with Charles, they become invincible. They can accomplish anything together. He is soon able to leave his job, after they launch the business. They receive thousands of online orders with their advertising campaign and also book stands at big events. Whenever Suzanne performs at an event, they always take her poetry CD and book of lyrics, along with their greeting cards, prints, and other products, which all complement each other. By visualizing their desires in detail and speaking life into them, Charles and Suzanne are surprised at how quickly their desires begin to manifest. They use positive affirmations for their business and pray a special blessing over all the people who come into contact with their business. Two like minds really are better than one. Suzanne is grateful to have Charles, who is forward-thinking, creative and ambitious. They spend time visualizing their business empire, drawing up plans, writing down their goals and discussing the details of how to run the business. They develop a following of repeat customers who in turn recommend their products to friends and family. Orders flood in from all over the world. When love and skill work together, expect a miracle. John Ruskin. Narrated by the author Shazan Poetess. Intro and outro music by my youngest son Azaba. Edited by my brother Antonio Noel of Virgo 17 Productions. Music for poems composed by Theo Caliste. I've included a bonus poem from my collection Seeds of Love, which Charles mentioned in Year 7.
Sometimes I don't treat you right, and I bet you wonder what happened to me, why I seem so uptight and angry, and all I want to seem to do is fuss and fight, and not give you the right to take your place as king upon your throne in our home. But sometimes I can't seem to help the way I feel. It's like something that's been passed down to me through my bloodline, and I need you to help me heal. See, my brother, my king, I'm beginning to understand that I'm still in an emotional state of shock after seeing the things they did to you in our history and the things they did to me. So you see, there's a lot of healing that needs to take place between you and me and our community, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to help us heal. Are you? Because brother, I want us to be together. I choose you, not another. And I'm trying, I'm really trying to heal. But you gotta help me, and I've gotta help you. Brother, we need each other. And I can't do it without you. And you can't do it without me. We've got to stick together. We belong together. Let's not let another come between us. Let the love for each other be stronger. Sometimes I don't treat you right, and all I want to seem to do is fuss and fight, and not give you the right to take your place as king upon your throne in our home. But I can't do it without you, and you can't do it without me. See, we need each other. We've got to stick together. We belong together. Let's not let another come between us. Let the love for each other be stronger. My brother, my king, we gotta do this together. And I know sometimes I treat you like less than a man. I Yes, I know you have your own issues to deal with. Lack of employment weighing you down, disabling you from providing for me and our children. Because that's the way they planned it. So that I would not give you your rightful position as my king. But I will do my best to help you in whatever way I can. To help you rise and be the man you're destined to be to me. And there are times when I pretend I don't need you and you act like you don't want me. But the truth is, I'm your sister, you're my brother, and we gotta stick together. We need each other. We belong together. Let's not let another come between us. Let the love for each other be stronger. Sometimes I verbally abuse you because there's so much pain inside of me. But today I pledge to do the best I can to help you rise, to be the man, the king you're destined to be. We gotta heal ourselves. We gotta heal ourselves. Yeah, we gotta stay together. We belong together.
All the poems in my Seeds of Love collection feature in Journey of a Sister. Purchase your paperback and listen to them on the Journey of a Sister YouTube channel under the playlist Poems That Feature in Journey of a Sister. Purchase your paperback of Journey of a Sister and join me at a book signing and discussion event where we will discuss the topics raised in the story openly. And of course, you can get your book signed. Go to my playlists to watch my Black History Month vlog series and Felicia & Co., some fictional characters I created to expand on the topics raised in Journey of a Sister. Be sure to like, comment, share and subscribe.